Shalom, shalom. This video is about the Gospel of John chapter 18 verses 41 up to chapter 19 verse 3, and it's about the Roman soldiers' deranged worship. So I'll read the text for you. Pilate said to Yeshua, "What is truth?" And after he said this, he went out again to the Judean leaders. He said to them, "I find no case against Yeshua, but it's your custom that I release someone for you at Passover. So do you want me to release to you the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "Not this one, but Barabbas." Now Barabbas was a revolutionary. Then Pilate took Yeshua and had him scourged. The soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head and dressed him in a purple robe. They kept coming up to him saying, "Hail, Avay, King of the Jews," and slapping him over and over. So the Roman soldiers' worship was deranged and satanic. They heightened what happened earlier in that biblical day. Remember, the biblical day starts in the evening as soon as the sun sets. Traditionally customary as soon as you can see 3 stars in the night sky. Okay, a temple guard officer slapped Yeshua on the former high priest Annas' instruction. That's what happened earlier. But here we see the Roman soldiers slapping him over and over. The purpose of a single slap is to degrade, to insult, and to dehumanize a victim. In their satanic worship, the Roman soldiers were completely unconstrained and unrestrained in their violence. Pontius Pilate earlier confirmed the testimony of the Magi from the east who came when Yeshua was born, that Yeshua was the King of the Jews. And the Roman soldiers worshipped him as such, but mockingly so, in spite of it being the truth, with a purple garment and a crown and hail or avay blessings. The Roman soldiers did this while they scourged Yeshua in a bloodfest to honor their demon god Orcus, as I explained before in the previous video in this series of prayer studies. Well, earlier in that same biblical day, Yeshua washed his disciples' feet, and we saw how an act of humility counterintuitively bestows honor. We saw how Adonai catapults the lowest act into the highest honor. Here we see other such examples of Adonai's catapult at work. Namely, firstly, Yeshua turned his other cheek over and over when he got slapped, not striking his attackers who slapped him, but rising above their pathetic, pitiful degradation. In Revelation 5 verse 12, we read that heaven gave highest honor to him in a loud voice, and worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing. So the lowest deed became the highest honor. We also read that, and we know that the crown of thorns became a crown of honor, far greater than King David's crown that you read about in the second book of Samuel, chapter 12, verse 28 to 30, which came from a pagan king. Yeshua's crown of thorns became one of the most recognized symbols of the King of the Jews. These Roman soldiers had no discernment. And even though Yeshua forgave them the scourging, torture, and humiliation before he died on the cross, they would still face him in judgment for what they did in the rest of their miserable lives before and after that day. And because Adonai is long-suffering and known for his loving kindness, we too can come to him for the forgiveness of our own sin and transgression. He forgave those Roman soldiers, and his loving desire is to also forgive you and me. If you do not utilize the opportunity, you will find yourself amongst the enemies of the Jews, who will be trampled into a bloody pulp and mingled into the topsoil by the King of the Jews upon his return. So don't wait, do it now. And with that, I wish you shalom, shalom.